Hi there, I'm Ildi and I'm back with another true crime brief review. I'm looking at various documentaries on Netflix, YouTube, and otherwise. Most of them are true crime related. Some are kind of adjacent to that, including the documentary that I'm going to be talking about today. It's a little bit of a departure. No, is it a departure though? No, because technically thousands of people died, so I guess not. I don't even know how to go about this. Okay, so let's just get to it. This is on Netflix. 2021 is when it was released. It's under the docuseries, political documentaries, and political TV shows genre, and it's called Turning Point, 9/11 and the War on Terror. Now, I know you're wondering why maybe I'm talking about this. Also, true crime-ish. It's definitely political. First, let me say, no. Actually, you know what? Let's start with what it says that it does, which is this unflinching series documents the 9/11 terrorist attacks from Al-Qaeda's roots in the 1980s to America's response, both at home and abroad. And it does that. I got a friend to watch this or start to watch it. And he's like, this is depressing as fuck. Because it starts off with what you normally see in 9/11 related documentaries, which is, you know, phone calls from the planes, loved ones who didn't come home, and calls and 911 answering machines, and it really pulls at your heartstrings, and you're just right away you're like bawling. And so that's when he stopped watching it, but I persevered. And it does start off with what you think a 9/11 documentary would do, which is really all the victims and the victims' families. But what was so great about this documentary is that, like it says, it goes from here's what happened to back to the 80s and the rise of Al-Qaeda and American and foreign politics and how everything became this perfect storm that became 9/11. Again, I'm sure, obviously, there's many sides of the truth, politics, what is real, what is whatever, right? So take it for what it's worth. But what is the talking heads? Let me go very formulaic in terms of, again, Netflix documentaries. I say it all the time, talking heads, archival footage, blah, blah, blah. But the people they interview are key government, members of government that were there around that time. I don't know how they were allowed to speak to the documentarians. The whole time I was saying, like, basically they were criticizing a lot of things that went on or didn't go on. And I don't know how they got A, permission to talk, B, how they're not, you know, on some sort of list, how they're not being assassinated or hurt by their own government. These are amazing people that they were, or a lot of interesting key people that were in government in the US and elsewhere, talking about the rise of Al-Qaeda and all the things that could have prevented or how things came to be, how they went. I mean, it was one of the things that just, I remember because I've seen it a while ago, is they do talk to the man who delivered George Bush Jr. the news of the 9/11 attacks. So we then see the clip of him reading to the kids in the preschool or wherever, and then some man comes over and like whispers in his ear, and we hear what the guy said to the president, and we talk to the guy who delivered the news. So like they really talked to some key people. It was insane. And so there's there's 5 episodes. They're about an hour each, quite long. So the first one is called The System Was Blinking Red. Interviews and chilling archival recordings chronicle the chaos that unfolded during the 9/11 attacks, whose origins can be traced to the 80s. So like I said, it really starts off with a bang, so to speak, of getting to your heart. The second one is called A Place of Danger. Survivors recount the horrors they endured on 9/11. Immediately after the attacks, George W. Bush begins charting America's aggressive military response. Number 3, The Dark Side, learning the hijackers benefited from gaps in U.S. intelligence, which is really interesting. The White House justifies a secret surveillance program and enhanced interrogation. Another fascinating thing. How these people were allowed to talk about this on this documentary, I don't know. Number 4, The Good War. With no cohesive strategy, the war in Afghanistan squanders early successes and backfires, fueling disillusionment, corruption, and a Taliban resurgence. I mean, again, maybe it just shows how little I know about anything, most likely. But basically, my understanding is the US went into Afghanistan, I think, and said, we're going to help you guys. Like, we're with you. And then they said, see ya, peace out. And they were like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, thanks a lot for nothing. And they talked to, I guess, people in the Ministry of Defense and key military people who were actually, I think, teary-eyed, going like, we left these people, like, we pulled out with no plan, like, what, we just fucked these people to get into the hands of the Taliban. And basically, I guess, some just questionable shit that the US has done that I don't know about, or I didn't know about historically. Anyways. Number 5, The Graveyard of Empires. After 2 decades, the US aims to end its longest ever war, but its withdrawal threatened to plunge Afghanistan back into repressive, bloody violence. So again, it's what I just said, and it's that whole idea. I believe it goes all the way to the present, which I believe Biden is the one who pulled out of Afghanistan. Like, it's just so complicated, and I'm actually Canadian, so I don't even know where Canada lies in all of this mess. I don't have opinions in that. This is too complicated for me. So if you think I have an opinion, I don't. I'm just saying how some of these episodes really shed light on some. It's just interesting. It's fascinating. It's interesting. And the people they got to speak is just amazing. I don't know how we're allowed to do that. So if you want an interesting and thought-provoking documentary, you want some, I guess, some insight, and then make up your own mind or do some other research, this is a great start. Because if you want to learn about things, but don't want to read a book or read some hard shit, and this is just a very good Coles Note version of, I guess, these people's account of what happened and what led up to 9/11. So I recommend the documentary, but again, you're going to be crying for bits. If you don't like to be depressed over or sad over what you're watching, then this isn't for you. But if you want to be informed, then I recommend. Until next time, bye.